Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you haven't done so already, please support this channel. The best way is to subscribe, share and like. Don't forget to check out my other videos. You are awesome. This is part 2 of the total bathroom remodeling video series. In the next few minutes, I'll try and demonstrate my attempt at straightening the floor base, running some plumbing, and installation of subfloor. If you watched part 1, you saw how I measured the level difference between joists, and that total difference was 1.25 inches. To fix this problem, I decided to combine two methods: to add wood planks onto lower joists and shave off of high ones. While the glue is drying, I'll start running some plumbing. Based on my experience with reclaimed copper fittings, I only use new ones now. Each sink is getting its own hot and cold water supply. My soldering skills improve every time I sweat it. Originally, I thought about running the drain pipe straight across through a couple of studs. Maybe I should have stuck with it. I wanted though to have drain pipes higher than the original one to avoid the same situation I had in my other bathroom, where I left drain pipes as they were and had to add extension tubes under the sink. The superior idea consists of cutting into this pipe, installing a Y fitting, running the pipe through floor joists and up to where the sink will be. Look at this. The sheer genius of someone who ran this wire like this is just mind-blowing. Can you believe it? Someone actually did this. Now I have to be extremely careful not to cut the wire or break the pipe. Oops! Don't you just love it? This project is turning into self-sustaining perpetual remodel of the century. This 3-inch sanitary fitting is like a unicorn. You can't even find one like this in the store. Replacing it would be too involving, surely. I have to repair it somehow. The PVC would not get budged by the acetone. The cement seems to hold it in place, but soon as another fitting is attached, the piece fell off. The improvised wire clamp seemed to do the trick of helping it stay intact. Almost. I only have a small gap to fill in now. Two-part epoxy with strips of fabric layered around the crack should hold pretty good. Why does everything have to be in the most awkward position to work on it? If you listen hard enough, you may hear my skeleton structure squeak and crackle from the extra exercise I brought upon myself. Later, I added epoxy on the inside of the pipe as well. The blue paper towel strapped around the seam will make the water leak very visible if there is any. This gray rag there is to prevent any water running down the pipe onto the blue paper towel. The couple of bottles of water at first, and then the 10 minutes of running water test were a great success. Now we can move on. I won't bore you with the eyeballing technique of drilling holes with surgical precision, or how to drill deeper than the cup of the hole saw. Just want to say that assembling new pieces when everything fit nicely is one satisfying experience. The toilet drain pipe will have to wait till the floors are cut to level. Originally, I was going to make leveling the floor super complicated by attaching some carrying boards at the level line, then run another set of linear supports across the floor to the other side, and have a router slide back and forth, removing high spots. If I did that, it would delay the video maybe by a month. Instead, I took a route suggested by a viewer to use a power planer. I chiseled both ends of each joist down to the correct level. Then, using a super precise straight edge, I mark a line to which the whole board will be planed to. The rest of the process is pretty straightforward. Yes, pun intended. Once I got a good handle on this, the process is not really that bad. It's noisy, dusty, sweat-inducing, and knee-killing, but it's the foundation for a beautifully straight floor which will bring joy every time I step on it. Somewhere in the midst of all this, more work popped up. Second thing to the worst had happened, but I was lucky enough to walk from it only with few bruises. Yes, it is painful. Now I have ceilings in the dining room downstairs to fix too. Wonderful. A very important, in my opinion, step is to make sure the new subfloor is mechanically bound with the original one. To accommodate for the difference, I use two pieces of 2x4 for each space between joists. First piece gets to be attached to the original subfloor. Second is attached to the first one at the correct height. Overall, it worked out quite well. Cleaning is essential. I worked with this one guy. He said that you have to make it really nice for the next guy, because the next guy might be you. Two 45-degree fittings offset the toilet location by about 4 inch. Perfect for what I need. The height is calculated by adding the thickness of subfloor, the cement board, the heated floor mat, and the tile. The flange should be at about the height of two subfloor plywood thicknesses. The distance between joists where the toilet is greater, so I installed two reinforcing ties to prevent floors from flexing. At this point, we are finally ready to put down elaborately cut pieces of subfloor plywood. You may notice I have my helpers with me, stretching the duration of the whole operation. But it's my duty to make sure they grow up learning some useful skills in life. If you found this video helpful or enjoyable, please click all the right buttons. Thanks for watching.